Hi, welcome guys, it's Mike Newton here. Different location today for this particular video. It's going to be a really interesting video for you. I'm actually at Morecambe Golf Club inside their indoor studio here. So big shout out to Simon Fletcher for allowing me to use this great facility. If you're ever in the area, do come and see and check out these guys. This particular video though, we're going to take a little look at the new Ping Glide 3.0 wedge and in particular the HydroPearl finish on it. Now there's a recent video gone out that the TXG guys did over the pond, and obviously those guys do a great job on YouTube, some really informative fit-in videos from those guys, and they did one regarding wetting the club face in the golf ball. So I was really intrigued and shocked at the difference of the spin. I think those guys are also shocked as well when they actually did the video. So I wanted to sort of do one myself and just sort of test it and see if that was the same for me on my delivery. We know everybody else's delivery. Obviously Matt on TXG is a good golfer. So I was really interested to see if those results were similar for me. So I've got some dry ball data obviously here. We've got some water, so we're going to spray it and just see what those differences are, and maybe just see if this HydroPearl finish that Ping are offering is really doing the job that Ping are basically stating. Okay, so we're going to start off. I've got the 54 degree in the Glide 3.0. It's the chrome finish. It's 12 degrees of bounce. I've set myself up about 100 yards out, so it's not quite a flat out one, just sort of a controlled full 54 for me. So I'm going to hit a batch of shots, obviously dry data here, no water involved at this stage, using a TaylorMade TP5X golf ball, which is what I game. So I'm just going to hit a few shots, or dry shots should I say. That's a nice strike. Hunting down that flag, and there we go. See quite a bit of spin, or the ball spinning back there. That carried 104, bit of spin on that, 9,170 spin on that particular shot. Okay, not quite as good a strike and connection on that, but still loads of spin happening. So we're obviously going to expect. These are pretty new, these grooves, so that was 10,000 on that spin. These grooves are pretty fresh. I've used these on the course for a couple of games, but that literally is it. So they're pretty fresh on these grooves, so expect to see some good sort of spin numbers. That was a nice strike. Slightly pulled, so we might just see that spin drop a tiny bit, but again, that's pulling back. You probably just about see that on the screen, that's pulling back, 104. Still getting a bit of that spin back there. Yeah, 9,500 on the spin. Again, good strike. And again, that is ripping back pretty well. Okay, so there's 4 shots with no water involved, completely dry. As many of you'll know, out on that golf course, especially mornings when it's dewy, or obviously if it is raining, maybe hitting out the rough as well, but you're always going to get some water between the club face and golf ball. Obviously grooves do help to try and put the water into the grooves, so you're getting as much friction between the ball and the actual face itself, and obviously getting the edge of the grooves cutting into that golf ball. But obviously sometimes it's just too much water, isn't there? So I'm going to absolutely drench this. I'm going to put a lot of water on the ball and the club face, and we're going to just do that same test that the TXG guys did, and maybe just see what basically those numbers are. And also the difference I think we saw in the video as well is the launch, how the ball actually deflects off that club face and how it maybe changes because of the water involved between club face and golf ball. Okay, just got some water here that I'm going to spray onto the golf ball and the club face. So let's give that a bit of a wetting. There we go. So there's quite a bit of water on there. You can see it just beading on the ball and the club face. And we'll get this first one hit. So same distance, same club, same loft. Wowzers. Okay, so that, that shot out pretty high. That's just hit the top of the net there, which is why that ball's just ricocheted, and he took my camera out there. So that's come out a lot higher. So the ball hasn't sort of gripped the club face as much there and obviously pulled the launch down. That's actually just shot up a little bit higher. That spin number there, let's just check that spin number. Yeah, so that spin there was 6,690, so it was a little bit less there. Let's just give this another spray and another go. Big difference there really was with that launch. Okay, so again, that is very, very wet. Try not to get hit with the ball on this one. Catch the ball, that was a good shot. Strike was pretty good. So distance looks to be unaffected there. That's still pulling up pretty quick. You see it stopping, checking and pulling, but it's not coming back. That's, again, just under 6,900. So the HydroPearl finish with the ping wedge, it's designed to disperse the moisture. Upon impact, it's designed, the coating on the club is to disperse that moisture away, so you're getting ultimate a little bit more control that golf ball on that actual club face. Let's just hit one more shot with the water. So again, I'm going to give it a good spray. Plenty of water on there. Again, that's launched much higher. You can see that ball just pop up. Again, we're going to look at those launched in a little bit more detail. Again, distance good, and again, that is pulling up pretty quick. Not as much as what it was when it's dry. Let's just go look at those numbers in a little bit more detail there, just between the dry and the wet data. Okay, so let's look at those data there. So 4 shots with the dry, only 3 with the wet there, but it doesn't really matter. Get an idea of what's happening. So first of all, we're going to look at that launch angle there. So you can see launching at 29.8 degrees with the dry, and that shoots up pretty much a good 5 degrees extra there when it's wet, so 35, and you could definitely see that as it was hitting the net in the simulator there. Spin number with it dry averaging at 9,712, so decent number for a 54 degree, around that 100-yard mark, carrying 101 on average, so hitting that sort of distance number there. Working into the wet one there, you can see averaging at 6,982, so just around that 7,000 mark, so probably a good 2,700 difference there between those two. The distance hasn't changed. The peak height has massively changed, 5 yards difference, obviously through that difference of the launch, but the distance actually hasn't changed, but the spin has come down, but it's still in an area where you could see on the screen, hopefully, where it was still stopping pretty quick. So obviously you're not going to get as much, because at the end of the day, you talk about dispersing moisture, it can't disperse it that it's dry, can it? You're always going to get some moisture there, so I think you're always going to get a drop off, but that particular drop off isn't massive in my eyes, so it seems to be forming pretty good. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to switch a different wedge in my hand now. Unfortunately, I've hunted high and low, and I've come and I haven't got another 54 degree wedge in a different brand. What I have got is a Cobra King wedge, one of the new ones at 56 degrees. So I'm going to choose more loft, so we know a bit more loft should generate a little bit more spin, but then I'm going to coat it again with some water and maybe just put it up against the ping HydroPearl finish and see if that finish is actually doing anything else. So I'm actually giving it a little bit of an advantage with the Cobra because I've got 2 degrees more loft, so this is really going to go up against the glide and that finish and really put this to the test. So I'm going to do that with the Cobra. Okay, so golf ball in, good drenching, and let's see what happens with this. Whoop, catch that ball. So again, that has come out very high into the green. There we go. So that dropped and just released. Bear in mind we have got 2 degrees more loft, so we should see more spin because of the extra loft, and that actually released. That didn't pull up. So again, good wetting. Again, we're seeing this launch up very high. Again, I'm getting good at catching that. Just catching the padded part of the roof there. And again, that's come up. It's checked a little bit more, that one, but again, it has just released forward a fraction. Okay, I'm going to hit one more shot, and then we'll see how those numbers are. So again, another bit of wetting. Again, felt like a decent strike, launching high. We know there's those extra couple of degrees of loft. And again, seems to be going similar sort of distance. Again, bear in mind we have got 2 more lofts, so it shouldn't go as far, so we should see a little bit of a drop off. Swing speed stayed the same, but we're just seeing that ball land and just release. Okay, let's look at some numbers, a little bit more detail, and see how the Cobra wet ball data compares to that wet ball data with the Glide 3.0. Right, okay, so as you can see the 3 shots at the bottom there with the Cobra. So we know, bear in mind, 2 extra degrees of loft, so we know it's going to launch a little bit higher, so you can see it has done at 36.2. So it's relative probably to the 54 degree wet in the Glide, so definitely higher. So we're seeing that same resemblance. Once it's wet, it will shoot up and off that club face in a higher trajectory. Spin is massively down, so you can see 5,237. So it is a good 1,700 revs less. Bearing in mind we've got 2 extra degrees of loft, so that is actually helping. So I would say, hazard a guess, if it's a 54 degree Cobra there, I would say that would be under 5,000 on that spin. So significantly different from the Glide 3.0. Distance there, getting out at 98 yards, just a fraction shorter. Again, just that little bit of loft helping to do that. Okay guys, so there we go, interesting little test there. Obviously the TXG guys have done this, so all credit to them to test and putting that video out there. I was amazed by it. That's the reason why I wanted to do this particular video, and I'm seeing similar results. Not maybe as big a difference of spin as those guys saw, but definitely a chunk of difference. And again, highlighting and backing up a little bit what the TXG guys were saying is that HydroPearl finish on the ping definitely is doing a good job there, isn't it? So we see the dry ball date obviously creating the maximum spin, you know, perfect light indoors there, perfectly clean golf ball, perfectly clean grooves. That's getting that spin into that 9,000 mark for that particular shot, this loft I've got. Obviously wetting it, we saw a drop off, as you'd expect, because you've got to, at the end of the day, there is some damp there, it's going to pull some spin off. But then when you test it against another brand that hasn't got the HydroPearl finish on, a huge drop again. Bearing in mind I did have more loft in my hand there, so I gave the advantage to the Cobra there, made it tougher for the ping. The ping still won by quite a bit. Interesting video. Comment down below, let me know your thoughts on that. With you know, is that something that's a bit of an eye-opener for me, to be honest? It's not a test I've done before. So very impressed now with the Glide 3.0. I think it's a great looking wedge, feels really good. Obviously we've got some finishes, different finishes available in the eye to head shape as well. So, but obviously comment down below, love to hear your thoughts as always. Thanks again to Simon Fletcher, head professional here at Morecambe Golf Club, for allowing me to come in and film in his studio. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, very much appreciate it. Follow me up on social media platforms, both Instagram and Twitter, and handles there at MNGolfCoach, and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.